Hey there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's quick tip, I'll cover the Clone Me Panorama mode that's available on the brand new DJI OM4. Now, if you haven't seen this feature before, it's a great way to inject a little bit of fun and a little bit of whimsy into any photo you take. And I promise you, when you show those photos to other people, they're going to be scratching their heads asking you how you did it. Now, one of the things I love so much about stabilized gimbals like this, in addition to the fact that they actually deliver buttery smooth footage, is that they're controlled by software. And because they're controlled by software, the companies can build autonomous modes into them that help them do things that are really difficult to do with a camera by itself. For example, panoramic shots are always tricky because if you're using a standard camera, you've got it on a tripod and you've got to kind of point it in a direction, move it a little bit, take another picture, move it a little bit, take another picture, and hope that you've overlapped those pictures enough that later you can manually stitch those together to give you that panoramic shot. When you're using a smart gimbal like this, the programming, the autonomous programming is already in there to deliver those kind of panoramic shots. All you have to do is set it up on a tripod, push a button, and it captures that panoramic mode. Now, DJI has built 3 panoramic modes into the OM4. The first one is a pretty standard panoramic mode known as 3x3. And essentially what that'll do is when you have that camera in there and you have it set up on a tripod and you push the start button, it'll take a series of 9 photos. It'll take 3 photos, drop down a row, take 3 more photos, drop down 1 more row, take 3 more, and then stitch all 9 of those together into a beautiful panoramic shot of whatever you're looking at. And it's a great way to get really a breathtaking shot of any vista you happen to be looking at. The other mode they've built into it is a 240 panorama, which means it's actually going to move 240 degrees as it's taking pictures to give you an incredibly wide panoramic shot of that beautiful beach or forest or wherever you happen to be standing. And that is breathtaking when you look at that type of photo later on. The new mode, which I think is really good, and it's clever because it's not that complicated, but again, DJI was the first ones to come out with it, is called Clone Me. And what happens here essentially is the camera will take 3 pictures, 1 here, 1 in the center, and 1 off to the right, but it delays 5 seconds between those pictures, which gives you time to run from the first position to the second position to the third position to be in all 3 pictures. So when they're stitched together, it looks like you're in 3 places at one time. And I think that's so cool. And when I first saw that feature, I played with it a little bit and I thought, that's kind of cool. It's like a bit of a parlor trick. Like, what's the big deal with that? But honestly, the more I use it, the more I show it to people, we're just having so much fun with it. So I think it's a great feature that they've built in. Now I'm going to take you outside and I'm going to show you how I actually do a shot, because there's a couple of things you got to keep track of. And then I'll come back with some final thoughts. The Clone Me Panorama is one of my favorite features on the DJI OM4 because it opens up so many creative possibilities and it's really easy to use. Essentially what DJI is doing through software is telling the gimbal to take 3 pictures in a row, but it's going to move the gimbal as it's taking them. So it'll take one over here, and another one over here, and create a panorama. The key is they're waiting 5 seconds between taking those pictures, so you can essentially be in the first position. If you're quick, run to the second position, and then run to the third position, and the software will sew all those together to make it look like you're essentially in 3 places at once, and it's just really a cool feature to use, and really easy to use as well. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do it. It is pretty straightforward, but it's important you set the shot up correctly. Now behind me, I've got a yellow hat over there. I've got a lime green hat over there, and I'm wearing a white hat. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to line up the shot first to make sure that I get that in the first shot, I get this in the center shot, and then I get the third shot over there. And I'm going to start in the first position. I'm going to put on that hat. It's going to take the picture, and I'm going to run like the Dickens to get to the second position, take the picture, and then run to the third one. And you'll see me in the picture 3 times. And you can just imagine if you were out on vacation how much fun you could have with this with friends. So stay tuned and I'll show you how it works. To set up the gimbal for a Clone Me Panorama, you'll want to start on the main screen of the DJI Mimo app. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the different modes that you can use for the camera. Right now I'm in video mode. You'll want to scroll down to Pano mode. And once you're in Pano mode, on the left-hand side, there's an icon that lets you determine which of the panoramas you want to use. So tap that. The first one is a 3x3 grid. That's the current setting I've got now. The one to the right of that is 240 degree panorama. And the one all the way on the right is the Clone Me. So tap that and you'll see you're in Clone Me mode. All you have to do at this point is tap the record button and the unit will automatically take 3 photos and stitch those together. Okay, here's the picture that came from that Clone Me panoramic setup. And you can see that I'm in the picture 3 times. There I am on the left, there I am in the center, and there I am on the right with that goofy green hat on. And anybody looking at that picture is going to wonder how you did it. You can have a lot of fun explaining it. And I'm promising you, The minute you explain it, they're going to go, let's go outside and try it. I got to try this thing. And they're going to have a lot of fun with it. And what I love so much about it is I know that photographers can do this, right? Anybody that's decent at photography can say, Rick, I can take a picture there, take a picture of you in the middle with a goofy hat on, and take a picture over here juggling some balls and stitch them together in a post-production software program. But that takes a lot of work. And what's perfect about the OM4 is you hit one button and the gimbal does everything for you, including sewing the pictures together, and allows you to immediately post it to social media. So it's just one more feature that the OM4 provides on top of all the other amazing things it does. And I know I rave about DJI all the time, but something like this where they've got innovative features they've built in to make it more fun is really what separates them from a lot of other companies on the market, because they don't just sit back and go, okay, we can program the gimbal to do panoramic shots. We've got to do a 3x3 grid. That's pretty standard. We can do a 240. That's pretty standard as well. What else can we do with the panoramic shots? And somebody was sitting in the labs going, hold on a second. If we delay it 5 seconds between the shots, that gives the person a chance to run around and get these different shots done, and we can sew them together and really make it a fun experience. Now, the only complaint I've got, DJI, is that the 5 seconds isn't long enough for old guys like me to get from point A to point B to point C. I'm killing myself running that distance. So maybe update the software to allow me to vary that speed, right? Give me 15 seconds if I wanted, or 20 seconds to kind of wander over to the center shot before you take the picture. And maybe that's something I'll update later on. But anyway, it's a ton of fun. And I'm telling you, the minute you show this to anybody under 18, they're not going to give you the gimbal back. They're going to keep it, they're going to set it up, and they're going to get really creative with it and come up with some cool stuff. So anyway, it's a lot of fun for me. Hopefully you found this clip helpful. I've got a lot more of these quick tips coming on the OM4 and some of the drones that I'm flying, just to spend a few minutes on one specific feature to explain it and answer any questions you may have about it. So if you have questions on anything I've covered today, drop those in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. If you're interested in the OM4, I've got a link below as well on that. I've done a full review of it. I've got more clips coming out on it. I just think it's a wonderful product. I know the holidays are coming up. If you've got anybody that's got a phone that wants to have a stabilized gimbal, the OM4 is really the one to buy. It's really a phenomenal product. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks an awful lot for watching. And until next time, happy flying.